What's up, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of the Top 10. I'm John Rocha.
And I am Matt Knost. We're here to bring you another movie discussion, this time about plane movies
Ew.
for the release of Plane. I remember seeing it on Twitter and it was just someone who was like, wait for the greatest title reveal you've ever seen at the end of this trailer. And then it just goes through and it's just Plane. It was like, you know what? Good for you setting that up.
I would love it if he makes this a whole series. Ship. Train.
Car. Oh, wow, we're stretching this fucking thing.
Ferry.
We can only move at 6 knots an hour. I don't know what the average speed of a ferry is, but
there's a bomb on this ferry train.
I never saw Speed 2. Did you ever see Speed 2?
Fuck no, man. No.
We're on this boat and the boat can't slow down. It's like, wow, this premise.
I remember being in the trailer, Matt. Being in the theater when the trailer showed the first time, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah. Be like, we got Jason Patrick. Be like, I'm out, guys.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Jason Patrick.
I don't remember him ever in an action movie. I'm like, fuck yeah, Jason Patrick, crushing it. Do I like Jason Patrick? Sure, go watch Narc.
Yeah, Narc. He's great in Narc, of course.
Yeah, or Lost Boys, or
Rush. He's good in Rush.
Yeah, Rush. It's great in Rush.
Yeah.
But those aren't distinctly action movies.
Yeah.
Keanu's kind of a one-on-one.
Yeah. He's tough to imitate. He's tough to replicate.
Yeah. Much as Matt Perry would like to kill him off, Keanu is all of ours, and we're the better for it. Of all people.
I know, right? Like,
of all people.
He's done nothing to nobody. Like, that's the thing. He's done nothing to nobody.
Oh.
He gives up his seat on public trains. There's a million things that he does, and this is the guy you go after. What a stupid decision on so many levels.
Unless it was like the publisher saying we need something salacious like this because it'll generate talk online and it'll boost book sales, which I could easily see that being the case.
Sure.
Even then, I don't think you pick
right
Keanu Reeves.
Well, that makes it even more shitty, Matt, because then you used him for no reason at all but a selfish desire to sell books. So if you had a legitimate beef with the guy's talent or abilities, okay, I can understand that. You're just a dick. But if you actually don't have an issue with it and you fabricated it, you're a massive dick at that point for that, because then you're just using that dude's celebrity for your own thing.
Yeah. As if you didn't make enough money on Friends.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck, dude? Like,
plus it's in syndication and it still gets sold for, and they're making boatloads of money. So how much money do you need?
Yeah. I think I've told you, like, my friend booked I'm not gonna say his name, but my friend booked a role on that Good Morning show or such sports show that he did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one with Allison Janney, I think. And he was on one episode, and he was getting laughs because my friend's he's a funny comedian. He was getting laughs on the lines, and Matt was getting pissed. So he tried to one-up him in the scene, improvising every line, because he's the executive producer of the show and the star. Who's going to tell him no? So he basically tried to take away all the thunder from my friend, who was just doing the lines as they were written, but in his own way to make them funny, which was part of the scene. But I guess Matt didn't like the fact that he was getting the shine in the scene as a day player over him as the lead of the show. So he overcame that and or went over top of him and changed the line so that he would have the jokes in the whole scene. And it was like, I mean, what is wrong with you, dude? Like, you're so far, you've got a shit ton of money. What the fuck else do you need, for God's sakes? Damn, give me that Friends money. I'll never act again. I'll never do shit again. Sit back and just fucking enjoy that money and hang out and live my life, for God's sakes. It's just crazy how much people need the stroke,
Well, I mean, I think the money is a nice part of it.
Yeah.
It's almost like a fringe benefit of the fame and the adulation. That's what they really crave.
Oh, it's a fair point. Yeah.
I don't know that for because there are some people that I think that do it just because that's what they love to do. I would imagine the vast majority are just like, you know what, that's all well and good, but I genuinely just like doing this.
Yeah.
It's fun and entertaining and exciting for me.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
But there are quite a few people that are just like, I want to be famous.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know, it's as good a motivation as any other.
Yeah.
I'm not denigrating it,
If
but
it gets you there, it
yeah,
gets you there. That's what matters, right? Yeah. If it gets you there.
yeah, there are numerous people that move to Los Angeles and be like, I want to be a star.
Yeah.
Not I want to be the greatest actor or I want to do this amazing ensemble piece. Just I want to be a star.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Here's a sitcom.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'll tell you the story. So we were home, I didn't do shit for a week. Like I didn't put any content out. I just took the week off. My girlfriend made me log out of everything so I wouldn't even be tempted to do anything over Christmas. So we spent a lot of time together, just reconnecting, hanging out. It was great. We were both so busy during the year. It was nice, even though we lived together, even though we both work from home, we still kind of don't spend enough time together. And so we were sitting there just watching stuff. And one night, what comes on? Because I didn't know that this was an actual channel on our YouTube TV subscription,
Mhm.
comedy.tv or whatever, which,
Oh, wow. I haven't heard that in forever.
dude, I had no idea it was a channel. I had no idea. And it shows old stand-ups, old shows. We were just randomly switching channels. And I hit on that channel and a young Mark Ellis is on there in that show.
Comedy Time?
Who Wants to Date a Comedian?
Oh, okay.
Holy shit, Knost. I had no fucking idea this show.
Was this Fat Ellis? This is probably post Fat Ellis.
I
Or
don't
is
know.
it transitional?
It's Ellis with the hair down covering the forehead, like when he wore the
Yeah.
hair down like
Yeah,
that.
it was terrible.
Yeah, it was not a good look for him, but
No. Well, I mean, look, I was confused with my look for a
yeah,
long time.
yeah, but ditto. I'm not criticizing Mark in a negative way. Just, we all go through that, but it was not a good look for him. But I don't know if he's fat. He was in shape, but just the idea that one of the nicest guys in the world is over here, like having to question these women about whether they should date him, I just thought was so antithetical to what I've seen or known of Mark Ellis in the past. It's such an unusual show that you would never get away with that show nowadays. Putting women through their paces, like they were working out for him. He would tell them what to do in a workout, and he'd sit on a lounge chair and watch them working out, which is the height of objectification there. But I just thought it was a fascinatingly insane show, and apparently went on with for 2 seasons. And it was all about these women who were trying to date a comedian or men who were trying to date a female comedian. Because I think Tiffany Haddish is very young Tiffany Haddish is in one of those episodes. So just a fascinating thing to discover. And then had no idea that there was a channel called comedy.tv that had all these old shows and old stand-ups and old comedy stuff going on there. I imagine that's Byron Allen's channel, right? I mean, he seems to have his fingers on a lot of those comedy pies.
I don't know who owns that show. But look, there's a very good chance it's a Byron Allen.
Yeah, I know,
very
man.
good chance.
That motherfucker, he's so smart, man.
Yeah. I mean, he owns the Weather Channel, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah. Quality notwithstanding, he's smart about what he creates.
Yeah, no, I'm not. The hustle to take, look, you have to give the man his genius.
Absolutely.
In that turning junkets into your own TV show, to repackage it, to make it look like these celebrities sat down with you specifically for these interviews. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I can't believe nobody thought of that before him. That is a masterstroke. I'm not even kidding. Whether or not you like it, but the coming up next, and he's at a junket.
Yeah, he's just at a junket.
He's at a junket, but he took all those clips, repackaged it, turned it into a show, made it look like all these people, like he's the Oprah of movie stars. And I was like, this is, for the longest time, I didn't know any better.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
And then as I got older, I was like, wait a second, because you'd see the same backgrounds.
Right.
When they're at the junket, like the poster behind it, you'd see another interview and you're like, well. But when I was, whatever it was, 8th grade or freshman year in high school, first time I saw it, it was always on at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is weird, but whatever. Just brilliant.
It does all the work for you. They do all the work for you.
Yeah.
You pay nothing for the editing, for the shooting, for the staging, for the actors or stars. You're just there. You get invited. because you've got an outlet, you got a name, and you get to ask them questions and whatever. And you're right, utter genius,
pure genius.
Hmm.
But yeah, that could be. I've never actually seen the Do You Want to Date a Comedian show. I know it existed. I completely forgot about it until you mentioned it.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed. I had no idea what this was. And I was like, this is Ellis? Holy shit. And I texted him. He was laughing about it. Like, he goes, he said, what we do on TV echoes into eternity, using the gladiator line. That was genius.
I did a set once at the Ice House, and it was for this thing called Comedy Time.
Yeah.
And they paid you for the set, but then, they were like, hey, sign this waiver. And I was like, okay. And then basically they own that set in perpetuity, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I would get texts every once and again, be like, dude, I just saw you on something on this random channel and they mispronounced your name. Like, okay. Like I hope you enjoyed it. I've never seen it. It exists.
Matt Knost coming up.
I think it was Knost.
Oh, Knost. Okay.
Yeah, which is a common one. But Knost and Knost, I get those.
Wow.
But yeah, comedy.tv, man. I thought that was defunct. I can't believe that's still a thing.
It's on my channel on my YouTube TV. I couldn't believe it, dude. Oh, no, is that what it's on? Oh no, it's on I think it's on Pluto TV. We saw it on the app. So we have this, people have Pluto TV. You can get it anywhere. You can download it on Roku or Apple TV.
Sure.
And you can't pause it or forward it or anything like that. You have to watch it in real time. And they schedule stuff. And one channel is like all Family Ties episodes, Happy Days episodes. One channel's all Love Boat episodes. Another channel's all British comedy stuff, British mystery stuff. So it's all different channels. And you just watch what you want. So I think maybe we were farting around on there because sometimes we'll do that. And that comedy TV, I guess, was a channel we selected there to watch. But just a random thing to see our Mark Ellis on there. It was so much fun. But anyway, just kind of talking about how crazy the world can be and the stuff you do. All right. Anything else? Well, anything else?
No, you ready to jump into the show?
All right. You don't want to say anything about Donovan Mitchell and his PED tests? You don't want to say anything about
that? Listen.
That's so crazy to me.
Was there a lane violation? Yes. Yes, there was. Are they ever going to call that in a million years? No. No, they're not. So I'm not.
All right.
Your Wizards fouling DeRozan on a game-winning shot from three. That's more egregious. DeRozan has had 2 of those this season where the 2-minute report comes out the next day and be like, that should have been a called foul. And be like, of course it was. You saw it in the moment. Whereas some Bulls fans are up in arms about like, oh, lane violation. And be like, they've never called that. They're never going to call that.
No.
You're pissing in the wind.
It's true.
Whereas the fouling on a 3-point shot to win the game, if it's egregious enough, that's a call that you make.
Right.
So we've had 3 that I can think of off the top of my head this season.
Okay.
Mitchell's being one of them. Your Wizards another. There was another DeRozan last second shot.
Okay.
The 2 DeRozans, I'm like, he got fouled. It's clear as day.
Okay.
The lane violation, and then there was also, I guess Lopez also traveled right before that. He picked his pivot foot up, and it would have been a turnover, and we would have had the ball. But you miss calls. Last second shot, every ref is looking at the same play.
Yeah.
I don't know how you missed that.
I do not hold on to regular season missed calls.
Well, when we're as mediocre as we are this season, I am, because those 2 games would then propel us above to at 500.
Good point.
So we wouldn't be nearly as bad. We'd be in the play-in, although I don't know if I want that necessarily, because we're just going to get crushed anyway. But he hung 71 on us.
That's incredible.
And he was wildly efficient doing it. So you can't knock him for it.
Yeah.
Plus he had 11 assists, which means he wasn't just ball hogging, jacking shots.
Yeah.
He was the entire offense. I think between assists and shots, he was 99 of their points that night.
Yeah.
That's fucking incredible. You got to tip your hat to that. He crushed us.
Everyone is in the zone now. It's
amazing.
It's the league now this is when you get league pass. Everyone's figured out what they are as a team. Everyone's hitting their stride. This is when you want to start watching the games.
Yeah.
For sure.
Plus, it's every other night.
Yeah.
Hey, so and so put up 42,
Yeah.
10 and
Fucking
10.
Luka.
You're like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Jesus.
Luka's done it. Embiid has done it.
Yeah.
Clay had what did Clay have? 54?
Yeah.
Or 45. I don't know if I'm flip-flopping which on that. But there's like 2 or 3 others on the night that Mitchell had 71. It's like this is just an offensive explosion.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. One last thing. Prediction. You're an NFC North guy. So Lions, Packers, who you got in this battle?
I mean, if you don't think I'm pulling for the Lions in this, you're out of your fucking mind. As much as I clown on the Lions, we can all agree in the Central, the Packers can eat a dick. And I wish nothing but bad things for them on the field.
Those sons of bitches might sneak into the end.
They might, and it's just not fair. It's just not fair. Exactly. They're finally like, yes, they're going to. Oh, are you kidding? Last week, or 2 weeks ago, when everything broke right for them, and suddenly, they have the inside lane out of nowhere, and you're like, oh man, how did these teams not fucking put this away? I'm sick of this.
Yeah, the Dolphins. I mean, if Tua doesn't have that concussion, there's no way they don't win that game. There's no way they don't win that game.
More than likely, yeah.
Because throwing those 3 interceptions the way he did, I mean, those were such blatant interceptions. It almost you wouldn't be faulted for thinking that Tua had money on the game against himself. They were such terrible interceptions. And then when you find out about the concussion, like, oh my God, what the fuck? So it worked out. But then, I mean, so many people thought that Minnesota was going to kill the Packers. You know, you're insane.
Yeah,
it's Green Bay and it's Kirk Cousins. You're insane. They're not
100%.
Yeah, and no.
Whereas
surprise.
I believe the Lions, could actually do it.
They're frisky. I like the Lions.
They are.
They're not going to back down because that guy Dan Campbell.
I believe in the Lions more than I do Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely.
Minnesota's it's a lot of magic that they're.
Yeah.
You know, 1-score games, they've all gone Minnesota's way this year.
It's a lot of sleight of hand, man. They're going to get killed in the playoffs. Some team's going to stomp them.
Unless this is just their magic year, but they come from behind and they keep pulling these, wins out of the jaws of defeat over and over and over again. There's something to be said for that, but considering you keep putting yourself in that situation, it's kind of a testament to apparently you only care if you have the screws, against you.
Right. It didn't work against the Packers, though. But against good teams, it doesn't work. Against great teams.
I fear believing in Jared Goff.
That's true, too.
That's the problem there.
That's a fair point.
But I Detroit fans, as much as I have lambasted you in the past, because we are, adversaries.
Right.
I am a Detroit fan this weekend. I really hope.
Yeah.
Although, would you be shocked if Rodgers walked out on the field and was burning sage a la Kyrie before the game? At this point?
I put nothing past Aaron Rodgers at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Comes out afterwards and be like, dude, he reeked like patchouli. It's just covered in it. It got on the ball. It was fucking gross.
I just think it's crazy that we could have Brady versus Rodgers after the shitty fucking years they've had, that there's still a possibility those two assholes are going to meet each other in the playoffs.
But both their teams suck, especially Tampa Bay. That team is terrible. Yes.
Tampa's horrible, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom went into the time machine in that game against the Panthers, for God's sakes, but we shall see.
It's the Panthers, man.
All
the promise.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. The AFC's wildly interesting. I think
I can't figure it out. Like, I don't know. The Chargers are coming on now all of a sudden again. And with Buffalo, if they rally around Hamlin's injury to motivate them to do something great, that's going to be a great story. But then again, that injury could absolutely mess them up emotionally to the point where they don't reach their promise, because that's totally understandable if one of your players almost die on the field. So who knows what's going to happen? Then Cincinnati is coming on themselves. KC's still kicking ass. So who knows what's going to happen in the AFC? I think that's much more exciting than the NFC. Yeah,
the AFC is interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into the show here. Sorry for the sports diatribe. I always like to hear what Matt Knost thinks about these things. As Matt said, it's top 10 movies that are set on a plane. We both agreed that it had to focus on a plane. It doesn't mean the whole movie's on a plane, but certainly a majority of the movie which is, a lot of the movies on the plane.
Yeah, you're trying to. It's about fucking plane, as opposed to the trailer that we saw. Seems like they're on the plane very early, and then they're on the ground.
And that, which I didn't know how to come up with a topic for that, so we went with plane movies.
It doesn't. So we're just like I don't know. We needed to be able to associate plane kind of first.
Yes, agreed.
With the movie.
All right. So, Matt, do you want to tell them how the show works, or shall we just jump into it?
Once we set a topic, we go our individual ways, create personal top 10 list, show back up here. I do my bottom 3, he does his bottom 3. I do my next 2, he does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece. Once we've revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the two of us.
All right. Where are we going?
So at 10,
yes,
I have just an absolute classic. Let's just say that classic.
Okay.
Which is Passenger 57.
Dude, always bet on black. Baby.
Always bet on black, baby. Always. It's like this. I believe this is the first one where Wesley is like, "Listen, I've taken a lot of martial arts.
Yeah,
you guys need to see this shit." He might have shown flashes of it and other stuff, but in my memory, this is the first one. Was like, "Does he do martial arts?" And when you go back and watch it, it's funny now watching from the perspective of we've gotten so used to these stunt coordinated fights.
Yeah.
That are flawless and they're so quick and guys are zipping about and whatnot. Yeah. And this is the precursor to that where, because I went back and watched just a couple of clips just because I wanted to see him do some of the fighting scenes.
Those are fun.
And there's one where he does like a spin and he does that MMA where you blindly kind of throw the elbow.
Oh, yeah.
As you're spinning. But there's like a slight hesitation. Whereas in today's, stunt world, it would have just been a full spin into elbow flawless.
Right.
So it's slightly more, I guess, maybe realistic. And like he spins and there's a little bit of a hesitation as he cocks the elbow and slaps it into the back of his head. But it's like a generic Hans Gruber.
Yeah.
Is the villain and they take over the plane. And I like it because they easily could have put in all the Arnold Schwarzenegger-esque bad pun lines.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, they always bet on black is the only real one.
That's a good one.
It is a good one. It stuck with me for years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There were numerous opportunities where they could have just been like, yeah, whatever the fuck, have a nice day. Or when he kicks the guy out the plane at the end, some stupid snarky line there.
Yeah.
Or he, there's innumerable opportunities that they don't exploit, and I appreciate that about the film. If you like Wesley Snipes and action films and you've never seen it, I highly recommend.
Yeah. Listen to this cast, ladies and gentlemen. Wesley Snipes, Tom Sizemore, Bruce Greenwood, Elizabeth Hurley.
A very young Elizabeth Hurley.
That's a good cast of people.
Yeah.
That is a good cast of people.
But if you're looking for like a good film, this ain't it. It's not. But it is, if you like action and you're fine with, a bad movie, but it's got some good action and it's set on a plane, I highly recommend.
Yeah. I remember seeing that one. And listen, there was a time, ladies and gentlemen, where studios were creating vehicles for Wesley Snipes. There was a time. I mean, and not those like side studios or smaller, like studios were legitimately trying to
U.S. Marshals, man. That was huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that coming out. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do a follow-up to The Fugitive, which is a big hit.
Right. U.S. Marshals.
Yeah. We're going to bring back Tommy Lee Jones, who we're going to have star opposite Wesley Snipes. Like, all right. Yeah. He started to get a push into those more mainstream. Passenger 57 was a vehicle because he had Rising Sun with Sean Connery.
Right. Which was a Michael Crichton book.
Yeah. Which is a good movie.
It is a good movie.
But the standalones, this was outside of smaller budget stuff like New Jack City, this was a slightly larger budget standalone. But yeah, it's a good one. The weird thing is, after going back and watching, you can clearly tell that this is just shot on a soundstage.
Oh, yeah, man, dude.
Well, when they go up to the cockpit, I was like, that whole facade of the cockpit is unlike any plane I've ever seen. And I, like you, like anybody our age, flown a lot of times. I've never seen the door to the cockpit look like that. And it just looks like this wall that they fabricated and they built a door into it. Like, All right. This is clearly on a soundstage, but okay.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
All right. So then, what's your 9?
My 9 is going to be the word punt from you,
Oh,
which is Air Force One.
that is a punt. Jesus Christ. All
Yeah.
right. What's your 8?
My 8 is Sully.
Okay. That's my 10. Go ahead.
So you watched it
I
finally.
did finally. It's an easy watch, man.
Yeah, it's a solid movie.
Yeah, it's a solid movie. It's not spectacular, but good performance. And I watched it after I went to go see A Man Called Otto because I really enjoyed Tom Hanks in that movie. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Why have I been resisting this film for so long? Let's see what he does with his character and whatever. Do I think they trumped up certain issues? Yes, but
What, with the
you got
board?
to,
With the
the whole
TSA
thing.
or whatever it is?
We got to bring you in front of the board and have these questions. And I'm like, there's no way they fucking did that. But that being said, you got to create drama in a movie.
Yeah.
And so I understand why they did it, even though I could see through it. But I thought he did a nice job. Him and Eckhart have good chemistry. Laura Linney was good as his wife. Like, I thought it was a good film. Not a great film, but a good film. You know?
And look, that was utter bullshit. He did that, and the entire country went, that dude is a hero.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Instantly. We all went, that dude is a hero.
Yeah.
So to say that the Federal Aviation Safety Bureau, whatever the hell it is,
Yeah.
sat there and we're like, look, in the simulation, they could do this. And you're like, you're removing the human factor in this.
Yeah.
And then when Tom Hanks was like, well, how many simulations did they run before we see this flawless one? And they're like, 73 or what? It's just a ridiculous number. It's not that high, but it's probably like, 18 or 20 or something.
Yeah.
And then the whole room was like, oh, and you can hear cameras, people like furiously writing on notepads, steno pads, and all that jazz, and be like, I don't recall ever hearing about any of this.
Yeah, no, neither did I. That's why I was like, wait, what? I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, but like you, I was like, well, they got to create drama in here somehow.
Yeah.
But I do like the telling it from at different points and from different perspectives. And it's a solid, what is it? It's like 90 minutes. 100
Yeah, no,
max.
it's an easy in and out film.
Yeah.
There's no Clint doesn't waste any time with that movie. Like he's like, let's get in, let's tell the story, let's bring some drama up. He overcomes the drama. Let's roll on out of here. You don't need to have more. You don't need to have more.
Not for this story.
No. Yeah.
He goes up, bird flies into engine.
Yeah.
He lands in the Hudson. There's not much more beyond that to the
Was
story.
it like it's under a minute or whatever, the whole flight or something? It was only a few minutes, rather, whatever it was. It wasn't that long.
It's not that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, they show it from the perspective of, I don't know, I think that was like a helicopter tour, and they had this two tourists, and you see this big plane flying right in front of you, much lower than it ever should be. That'd be crazy.
Oh yeah, I'd be freaking out,
especially post 9/11.
Oh yeah, good point. Right.
Yeah, in New York, like all of it wrapped into one. But it's a solid movie. I think it's really good.
Yep, I agree. Clint can direct these kinds of movies, man. They're just in his wheelhouse. They're really not that much effort for him to do it, and just delivers a solid product. And does it always work out? Is it always that well received? No, but for something like this, I think he knew exactly what he needed to do, and he didn't want to waste the audience's time by adding another extra half an hour of drama or whatever to it. 90 minutes.
For more backstory.
Yeah. So smart. Okay, so that was my 10, your 8.
Mm-hmm.
So my 9 is Nonstop, the Liam Neeson one.
I did not see that. No. So you're telling me that was decent?
I loved it. I think it's good. Joan Collett-Serra directed it, who did Jungle Cruise, and I liked Jungle Cruise. I didn't like Black Adam, so but I think that's more something else. And I like him as a director. I think because he did The Shallows as well, the one with Blake Lively and the shark, which I really liked. So I like his instincts as a director, and I enjoy. As far as Liam Neeson vehicles go, this is one of the good ones. And him with Julianne Moore, Scoot McNairy. It's connected to 9/11. And he's this air marshal who's being framed for possibly planting a bomb on the plane. So I was like, oh, this is great. I love this. And the way it goes about with the drama and the twistings and the twists and turns, and then you're questioning who's on his side, who isn't on his side, because Julianne Moore is where you're like, where does she land on this? Scoop McNairy, who I think is his assistant on it, is the other air marshal or the other air marshal on the plane. Where's his allegiance lie? Stuff happens with the pilot. There's another guy. There's a couple of people that get framed as possibly being a part of the plot. So it's all this is happening on a fucking plane the whole time. So I thought it was good, and Liam does a really nice job just commanding the scenes as he goes along through all of this. And then when the passengers turn on him, so there's a lot to explore that I thought was well done when it comes to a Liam Neeson vehicle. So.
Yeah, I think the last one I saw before that was Black Ice. I think that was what it was called.
Oh God!
Or no, was it Cold Pursuit?
Cold Pursuit. Yes.
Cold Pursuit.
I think you dubbed it Black Ice on our show.
So something ridiculous. And it was like, it's Liam's starting to get into this weird, I guess, saying yes to any action film because they just throw $7 million at him, and he's only got to shoot for who knows how long. I still, though, if someone came and was like, this one's good, I would go watch it.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
He hasn't lost me entirely, so nonstop. All right, maybe.
Yeah, give it a shot. What's the other one that's out? Memory, the one that's on Amazon Prime.
Memory?
I haven't watched that one yet. Just call it Memory and Plane, a double feature for you. So I haven't seen that one yet. All right, so I recommend it if you guys want to see it. It's good stuff and some good actors. It's cool. Number 8 is Executive Action. Remember this one? Kurt Russell.
Executive Decision.
Oh, sorry. Executive Decision. Sorry. Executive Decision. No, what did I
thought about it. It was like that or Passenger 57.
Please. Turbulence was in contention for my list. Like, it was back and forth. Turbulence, because I love that cheesy Ray Liotta, Lauren Hawley film. But this one, I just think is a better made film. And it's, the fact that you kill off Steven Seagal in the first few minutes of the movie, which was a real surprise. And then it's Kurt Russell's film, and they're trying to, stop these terrorists on the plane. And Halle Berry does a nice job in the film as well. So I was just really surprised at how much this film works. And I, like you, I went back and watched some scenes on YouTube. I was like, this thing's still solid. This thing still works.
So, I liked it. I came damn close, but I was like, Passenger 57. They're kind of the same to me. Plus, I already had Air Force One.
Wait a minute. They're not in the same conversation. Air Force
but it's
bit better. What'd you say?
It's right. They're in the ballpark of being the same movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, one is better than the other.
Yes.
I'm not the biggest fan of the one that we've already punted on, but I do like it more than Executive Decision. But Executive Decision is a solid movie.
That is a solid movie. Yeah, Kurt Russell, Halle Berry, John Leguizamo, Oliver Platt, Joe Morton, Steven Seagal, as I mentioned, B.D. Wong, and a Marla Maples sighting in the film.
Yeah, that's a weird cast.
It's a weird cast.
This is Kurt at one of his low points. It is. This Soldier.
Oh, Soldier was not good. God damn it.
It's so drawn out. And I wanted to like it. It's an interesting premise.
Yeah, because I like Jason Lee coming out of the Dragon movie. So I thought, these two guys, this looks like a great premise. And then it was not good.
Well, just him trying to find his humanity and salvation in this kind of refugees or former colonists that are now kind of fending for themselves. And I don't know. I just didn't buy into that part of the story.
Well, I mean, for Executive Decision, it made $122 million off a $55 million budget. So not too shabby.
Yeah, not too bad at all.
I would say. All right. So what's your 7, brother?
My 7 is Fly Away Home.
Oh, wow. Oh, please go ahead.
Have you seen it?
No, I didn't even think about this one
It's the one about the geese.
Yeah, right. With the young
Anna Paquin has to fly and be the front of the flying V to lead them home, and Jeff Daniels plays her dad, whatnot. But I think it's based on a true story. Yeah. It's a nice heartfelt. You want to watch something that's going to make you feel good, and say, you know what? Not all of humanity are terrible shitbags. Here's an example of someone giving of themselves to help something that's never going to be able to properly thank it
Honey,
or thank them.
put on Fly Away Home. I'm feeling pretty shitty about the world. Put
Yeah,
on Fly Away Home.
it's one of those. It's you know, it's a nice. You'll have a smile on your face, and your heart will be warmed
Oh,
by the end of it.
yeah.
It's a
All right.
solid movie. Plus, we have never talked about Fly Away Home.
We have never talked about Fly Away Home.
I hadn't thought about it until looking up movies for this list, and I was like, oh yeah, Fly Away Home. I mean, plane is a bit of a stretch for the nomenclature.
It's a
It's a flying vehicle.
Yeah, it's a flying vehicle.
So in that regard,
Yeah.
if you want to, bust my chops, I don't know what the proper definition of a plane is. This clearly is not it, though. But I was like, yeah, I think it fits the spirit of what we're talking about.
I'm not going to fault you for putting it on.
Plus, she's up in the air for the majority of the film.
Yeah.
As opposed to other ones that I could have thrown on here, like, say, a Die Hard 2, and be like, well,
Oh, my God.
his wife and Atherton are up on that one plane, and the British people that die are on the other, and then they take off on the other plane. Be like, yeah, that's stretching, I think, what we're trying to go for here.
I thought for sure you were going to put it on your list.
Did I write it down as a potential? Because just as you doing this one and this one and this one to have all the potential options.
Sure.
If my list had come up much shorter, there was no Passenger 57s and Executive Decisions and shit like that, then yeah, I would have snuck on at like 10, and I knew I'd be lying. But I don't have to worry about that.
You don't.
I have a full list. It's fine. I have one that later on that may stretch.
Okay.
But you'll understand why. I think it qualifies personally.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I could have more to add, but I never saw it, and I thought it was Sam Waterston, but I think that's Radio Flyer, and this is.
I think you're right.
Jeff Daniels.
This is 100% Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
And it's a young Anna Paquin, post piano, but before she got into more adult roles. I think probably like preteen to 13-ish, something along those lines.
Yeah. And I think Dana Delaney's in this one as her mom.
Seems like a Dana Delaney-esque role. I'd have to look it up, to be perfectly honest. I just remember the two of them.
Yeah. I think she's doing a nice job on Tulsa King. I don't know if you're watching Tulsa King, but she's doing good work on that show.
I've heard mixed things.
What? No, don't let anybody tell you it's not good.
Yeah, I heard mixed things from Stallone fans.
Whoa.
So that, to me, I was like, all right, well, then I'm out.
All right. Are they really fans, though? I don't know. If they don't
like According to them. Did I see them post something about some Rocky DVD they got? Yes. Yes, I did.
Don't listen to JT. Do not listen to JT.
He was one of several people that I know that are Stallone fans that are like, I'm out on Tulsa King. And I was like, whoa, really? JT was one. He was the first one that I saw him out. And I was like, oh, okay, well, to each their own. And then I saw a couple others and talked to one in person.
It just turned a corner. It got real good. All right. So that was your 6 or your 7?
My 7.
Okay. What's your 6, bud?
My 6 is Flight.
Oh, punt. A slight punt.
I didn't know if this would count. There's a lot on the. Okay.
I think it counts because so many of the flashbacks are on the plane. I think
True.
If Sully counts, which was a 46-second flight, I think this counts.
Yeah, but they spend more time reliving the flight from different people's perspectives. So you see the plane a lot more than you see from their perspectives, and then different, individuals. And Flight is from his.
Yeah. All right. So then my number 7 is Red Eye.
I haven't seen that, though. McAdams, Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, man. It's really good. McAdams is like this concierge at a hotel. She leaves to go see her father, and apparently her father is a what do you call it? Not Secret Service. What do you call it? Like military intelligence or whatever. He's just involved. Okay. He's done stuff in overseas.
NSA
so
or
I don't know what do we call those things? Like why can't
spooks?
I think I think so.
Spook of some kind.
Yeah, basically that. Yeah, like an intelligence guy. Yeah, exactly. And so Cillian Murphy is connected to something that he did. This guy, her dad's played by Brian Cox.
Good
and Jayma Mays is the one who is standing in for her as the concierge of the hotel. So she gets on the plane, and this guy is Cillian Murphy is on the plane. Is initially just introduces himself, and he's kind of sweet and nice to her, and they establish a relationship, and then he makes the turn. And when he makes the turn, you find out that he's got this whole thing set up to kill her father and to blow up the hotel. And so she has to figure out, Rachel McAdams has to figure out how to outwit him and how to fight him both at her home and help Jayma Mays help to fend off what's going on at the hotel. So it's actually a really fun film. And McAdams is great in it. So that you know that she should be leading more films, but never been the person to necessarily be the one to do that for too long. And Wes Craven directed it, which I was really surprised when I was watching it after it was over. I was like, oh, this is a really well done film. So yeah, I mean, like
shot across the bow of all Wes Craven movies.
People get mad at me about that kind of stuff.
You don't like Scream? I like Scream.
I think Scream's fine. I'm not a big Scream fan.
Yeah,
and
me either, but I think the first one's good.
Yeah, and I think Nightmare on Elm Street is dated, but it's fine. But I've never been the biggest, and I respect Wes, but I've never been the biggest, gotta see a Wes Craven film guy. But I thought he did a nice job with this one. So I really enjoyed seeing it. It was good action. The ratcheting up of the tension as it goes along. The stuff with Brian Cox is super interesting. And and certainly Rachel taking a bunch of bumps throughout the movie and some brutal back and forth with Cillian. And Cillian doing nice work. This is Cillian Murphy around that time where people getting to know him. Mm-hmm. And him doing nice work as this guy who's constantly being thwarted as he's trying to carry out this mission. And he deals with more and more physical maladies as the film goes along. That I think works so well. So yeah, it's a good one. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I don't think it's that long. It's like an hour and 40, hour and 50. It's not that long. All right, so that's my number 7. And since you haven't seen it, I imagine you don't have much to say about
I don't have it. But he is a guy where I've seen a lot of his filmography.
Oh, Cillian or Brian Cox?
Cillian.
Oh, okay.
So I'm kind of surprised I never end up watching this, but if you throw a dart at his IMDb page, I bet you I've seen it.
Oh, fair.
Yeah. After 28 Days Later, I was like, I like this guy. So then I just, anytime he pop up in something, I'd end up watching it.
Yeah.
Your Wind That Shakes the Barley, your
that's good.
Sunshine, your, whatever the smaller film is. I'm like, hey, it's got him. I like him.
Yeah. What was the most? Oh yeah, Peaky, of course. Peaky fucking Blinders.
Yeah, I bailed.
Oh my god.
I watched the first either 3 or 4 seasons. I think he is awesome.
Yeah.
I do not care for the vast majority of the rest of the cast. I think his brother's pretty good.
Arthur?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
The older brother? Yeah, he's good because he plays that, he's got all the troubles and whatnot. And I believe the backstory that he created for that character, I really feel like it's lived in and honest and real. Yeah. And I like their aunt / she almost seems like a sister who's unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
I thought she was great. I thought a lot of his brothers were
marginal. Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough. And anytime the stories would go to focus on them, I'm like, let's just shift this back to the 2 main brothers, guys. What are we doing here?
I watched Gary Janetti's The Prince, that animated series on HBO Max, and I thought it was great. I know some people were mad about it and offended by them making fun. Oh, God, we're so sensitive in this fucking country. When I found out that it was the actor who plays Arthur voicing over one of Kate and William's kids, I was losing it every time he came on because he kept the voice. So you're just like, how is
he got that gravelly voice? Yeah, I haven't watched that. I saw the picture on HBO Max, but I didn't watch it.
It's funny. And they're all like, 12-minute episodes? It's not that long.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And it takes down the entire royal family, and it takes down Meghan and Harry. It's fun. Like no one escapes, which I think is great. It's fair across the board. All right. Anyway, so that was your 6. Oh, that was my 7. Sorry, Red Eye. So then my 6 is Con Air. So
all you, my man.
I know.
All you.
Oh my God, what a great film. Simon West has directed a fantastic action film that feels just like Michael Bay. Nicolas Cage in a role he was born to play as Cameron Poe, with that accent and that mullet and that shirt of his, that undershirt of his, just so perfect. You're trying to get back to his daughter and to Monica Potter, who plays his wife. And a great cast. I mean, John Leguizamo. I'm sorry, no, what
An
was it?
incredible cast.
John Malkovich, Ving Rhames, Rachel
John
Dickinson,
Cusack,
John Cusack, yeah, Cole Meany,
Cole
McKelty
Meany, yeah.
Williamson. A bunch of people involved in this one. That's a lot of fun to see. MC
Danny
Gainey, who ends up
Trejo.
flying the plane into Vegas.
Yeah.
And just the way it all goes down. Oh, Trejo, of course, Danny
Yeah,
Trejo.
Trejo. Is Fincher in this?
David Fincher?
I don't know. Finch, what is his fucking name? He was in Heat and Dark Knight and
Waingro? Do you mean Waingro?
Yeah. No. Well, I'll look it up.
Okay. Anyway, just a fun film that I really just enjoy going back to watch. I'll tell you this, I choose this over The Rock. I know some people think I'm crazy, but I will put
You're out of your fucking mind.
10
You're
times
out of
out
your
10,
fucking
I will
mind.
put Con Air on over The Rock.
Fichtner, that's who it is.
Oh, William Fichtner. Yeah, he's great. I love Fichtner. But yeah, all of it, the way it goes down. Oh, yeah, and Buscemi, who plays a
Buscemi,
killer.
the serial killer psycho.
Yeah. So I just really love the film. It's so much fun. It's a turn your brain off, have a fun time. 90s action film and all that implies. And so,
and if you want that, watch The Rock because it's the best.
Yeah, sometimes a little bit,
This Con Air is so terrible. It's so terrible.
You're so insane. Anyway,
it's like the worst of Bruckheimer and the worst of Bay had a baby, and we got Con Air. Oh, your camera froze. Or maybe that's on my end.
Oh, there we go. We're fine. We're fine now.
All right, you're still frozen. Oh, there we go. Now you're back.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's the rain and everything that's going on. I think it's affecting internet.
I'm all for Cage going over the top.
I'm
all for it.
Put the bunny down, man. Put the bunny down.
Like that Renfro trailer. Did I watch that?
Yes. Oh, Renfield. Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Renfield,
no,
sorry.
Yeah. Did you watch
too much football in the brain. I watched it because I knew it wasn't going to spoil a damn thing, so I didn't care.
Right.
And I'm like, yep. It's a part Nick Cage was born to play.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I would have done a reaction to it earlier, but I've got a full recording day, so I didn't get a chance to react to the trailer yet. But maybe later tonight I'll do something. But I can't wait. I love Cage in these kinds of films, so I enjoyed it in Con Air. He's so good, and the story they're telling is really good. I mean, he's just trying to get back to his girl, you know.
Yeah, but
all these weird villains he's got to overcome. He's
got to register these 2 deadly weapons that he carries with him at all times, baby. Fucking ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
And it was, and Chappelle has a fun little cameo.
Chappelle's got a small part in it. Gets tossed out the plane.
Oh my God. So good stuff. All right. So should we take a break here, Matt?
Sure. Yeah. Take a quick break. Hear this word from our sponsors. We'll be right back after this. All right, there we have it. Now we're getting into our top 5s.
Mm-hmm.
At number 5, I have. Here's the one where I'm like,
Okay.
The Right Stuff.
Oh, can I tell you something?
What's that?
That's Bunt. That's a Bunt.
Okay. I honestly, originally when I made my list, it was 2.
No. Yeah. Well.
All right. Look, I am fine with readjusting my list and put it because I was like, and even with I'm not sure if this counts. I put it at 5. All right. It's going back to 2.
Okay.
So that's my number 2.
All right. Fair enough.
My 5 now becomes.
What's your 5?
Memphis Belle.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, man. Knock yourself out.
It
almost made my list. It was like 11 or 12 on my list.
Sure, but you gotta squeeze on executive decision. You know what I mean? That's got to make this list.
I just think Memphis Belle is kind of cheesy, so that's why I like the.
You just talked about your love for Con Air, for Christ's sakes, and you're like, this other movie's too cheesy.
That's manly cheesy, not Norman Rockwell cheesy. There's a difference.
This is based, I believe it's based on a true story.
It is based on a true story.
It's a crazy fucking story. Can you imagine getting into a bomber?
Yeah.
20 some odd times you have to fly. It's like 24 or 25 missions. And then finally you get to retire from it and nobody's made it. And you're finally on the precipice. You're at your last mission and you barely make it home. It's crazy. I couldn't
Well,
imagine having to do that. Or the Sean Astin job of you're in the ball turret on the bottom of this.
yeah,
Have fun.
yeah.
Okay. That is brutal. When it gets shot out and then they have to open the hatch to see him and he's just dangling on by his safety harness. Dude, get
Mhm.
the fuck out of here. That movie's good. That
I didn't
movie's
say it's not good. I told you it was close.
you said it was cheesy.
It is cheesy. That doesn't mean it's not good.
Oh, but the way you said cheesy was implying it's a cheese. Basically, you're more a Gouda man, and this is brie, and you turn your nose up at brie.
It's more like craft singles. This is
Oh, how dare you just talked about Con Air, the craftiest of all movies. That is pure cheese product in quotes on the front
no,
of the
you're not
package
wrong.
movie.
You're not wrong. Con Air is what I put on my Taco Bell nachos. You're absolutely right.
Exactly. Something that is a dairy product and can't call itself cheese.
Only you're right. Only by a slight connection is it a dairy product.
We're going to find out years later that the orange number 7 they used in it actually causes men, infertility in men if they eat it for
Oh
long
no.
enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
how dare you?
I
How dare you?
apologize. I apologize. It's just like, let's do the right thing, guys. I get sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot of that rah-rah, which
there is. That's what I'm getting at. That's where it gets a little too cheap.
yeah, but it's the only war you can really think of outside of like something like the Revolutionary War or potentially the Civil War. But by comparison to most any modern war where you have a distinct good guys and bad guys. Like
No,
World
you're
War
absolutely
One.
right.
Yeah, World War One is a muddy.
Yeah.
You have to understand the motivations for how we even got there.
Yeah.
And in Vietnam or Korea or whatever, all these others are just like, dude, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
And the polarity of the situation's hazy at best. So we have a film which is like right versus wrong.
Right.
Right wins. So occasionally we're going to make movies where it is rah-rah because we're going to celebrate the fact that we were the victors on the side of everybody agrees was good.
Yeah.
Save for some assholes who still think the good guys lost. I don't. To each their own, except on this issue. Fuck off.
100%. 100%
Yeah.
what Matt said.
You're wrong. I'm so happy you lost. It's not even funny. The world would be a terrible place had it gone the other way. So yeah, rah-rah I think is justified. And given the nature of the story and what they had to overcome and it's based on a true story, rah-rah all the way, man. I'll be there with fucking pom-poms and my short skirt and I'm going to cheer it up for these guys. Go kill them. Get those crowds.
Wreck them, rock them, go, go.
Yep. I'm sorry, did you grow up at a 50s high school? Wreck them, rock them, go, go?
No, I was doing what's his face does in Robin Williams in Aladdin when he has this little cheerleader moment, which I think is hilarious.
Oh, I don't even remember that line. Okay.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. That's when Jafar is like fighting him at the end. Fighting, oh, God, why can't I remember his name? Aladdin, duh. It's the fucking name of the movie. Anyway, when he's fighting Aladdin near the end, when Jafar has done the thing with the genie, he's controlled the genie. Aladdin shows up to fight him, and Genie turns into this cheerleader going, Ricka, rocka, rah, rah, rah. And then.
Yeah, I remember the scene what you're talking about and him turning into a cheerleader.
Yeah.
I couldn't have told you what he said for
okay, fair enough.
$1 billion for all the money that Musk has lost in the past 2 weeks.
Hey,
I couldn't tell you any of it.
Yeah, good cast here. Matthew Modine, Eric Stoltz, D.B. Sweeney, Tate Donovan, Billy Zane. This is the creme de la creme of the standard white dude.
Well, and also none of you can really lead a film outside of Matt Modine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sean Astin, Harry Connick getting his first real shots.
Connick, that's right.
And then one random dude. You have all these others that you can name in there and you've seen a million times, and then one dude where you're like, I'd have to really hunt to see if I've seen anything else you've been in, which is so strange.
Right. Because I mean, there's the redheaded guy who has played like good and bad guys all through the 80s. And then there's Reed Diamond, who's the blonde dude from Rescue Me. I think he's the other guy on the plane with them as well. So yeah. yeah, I'm not gonna fault you for obviously for liking it because I said it almost made my list, and I was like, but how many times am I really gonna put that on? So, all right. So my number 5 is Airplane.
That's a punt.
Okay, I had a feeling. Your 4?
My 4 is, you know what? I watched it for this show.
Ooh,
It's something you brought up in the past, and I told you I didn't want to watch,
okay.
which is United 93.
Ah, it's a punt.
Fair.
Okay, I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on it. So, my number 4 is Air Force One, which is the punt from earlier.
Okay.
I think we've talked about this film many times on the show. Is there anything we haven't talked about the show?
I mean, I've got it all the way near the bottom. And by near the bottom, I mean second from last on my list. So
Your hatred for America is really
I just
astonishing.
had Memphis Belle, and you're like, you know what? I don't like the stories where we kick
That
another
America
dude's
doesn't
ass.
exist anymore. This is the real America, Air Force One, man. President
A
kicking
president
ass.
beating terrorists on Air Force One is a
Hell
real
yeah.
America? All right.
That's America, goddamn
Somebody's been reading too much Trump fan fiction.
it. Not I. Not I.
I'm just
But
saying,
no,
I can't imagine another president having anything like that written about them.
Obama would totally kick ass on a fucking plane, please.
Would, yes, have something like this made in their honor.
Yeah.
Only T Rump.
Oh, right. Fabricate. Oh, right. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah, because I think it's like Obama, Kennedy, and maybe one or two. I imagine Andrew Jackson wouldn't fuck around with terrorists on his plane.
No.
Um,
But yeah, but he'd challenge him to a duel.
he would a duel right there in the middle of the thing, and not care who died. But anyway, I digress. Wolfgang Peterson, fantastic film. Love Harrison Ford in this movie. Love Dean Stockwell being a total sleazeball. Glenn Close is really fun. And of course, Gary Oldman, who has done numerous villains associated with Eastern European countries over the last few decades of his career. So I think he does a really nice job here. And of course, Jurgen Prochnow getting a silent role as the guy they're trying to break out. So, but yeah, we watched it recently. We did a watch along on the Cinephiles for our patrons, and it was a lot of fun to revisit this one. But there are some story structure issues, but overall, I think it's a lot of fun. I like it. So there you go. That's my thoughts on it, Matt.
Fair. All fair. I think it's an enjoyable movie. It's a solid action film.
Yeah.
And of the president is on Air Force One and has to fight people, it's the better of the two between that and Executive Decision.
Oh, right. That's right. I ranked it accordingly. So
Yeah, I didn't create space on my list for two of those movies. That's all.
Just gotta take the shots, man. You gotta take the shots.
I'm not. I'm just.
I swear to you. I let you have the right stuff, but no.
Let me. You have it as well, so there's no let me. You agree with me, is what you mean to say.
Speaking of Gary Oldman, we powered through Slow Horses on Apple TV.
Did you do both seasons?
Yeah, we did.
He's awesome.
4 days. It is good. I really liked it. I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like Kristen Scott Thomas.
Oh yeah, she's great.
I like the young guy lead, and then I like the older woman that works in the office.
Right. Yeah, Saskia Reeves.
Yeah,
she's great.
I think you could. There's a few like the guy that sits at the computer.
Yeah.
I don't understand that character at all.
Yeah, it's a weird character to have and what role they have to play. And then in the second season, when they bring in that other character to be in the office with him, you're wondering, why would you take a role like this when you really don't do much in the whole season?
The character itself is dull.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you take that role? Because you're a young actress and it's a part on a show with Gary Oldman.
And I guess Thomas. So. Yeah, true.
But yeah, the stuff between the two of them and then now her with the potential prime minister and all that, I think that's, fabulous.
Yeah.
And then like when he goes down into the records room and then the back and forth with that woman is like, dude, I could take this all day.
Yeah. There's some great sequences there,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
It's just when they flash over to the other part of the cast, I'm like, okay. Can we just go back to Gary and
I
all
like
the basically established actors? Because I think they're just better at it.
the black woman in the office. I think she's great, and what they got to do in both seasons with her. So.
I found her the guy she's closest to in the office. We'll say that.
Yeah, Min.
I found him charming.
Yeah.
She grew on me over time. I think she's okay. They
Okay.
gave her more to do in the second season.
Certainly, much more to do.
Yeah. But
So
still, I'm
great.
on the fence.
Yeah. Well, I put it out. I think Matt and I can say if you guys haven't watched Slow Horses, give it a chance or give it a watch because Olben is just fucking fantastic.
He's utterly fantastic.
Yeah. And really good at like he doesn't have to be involved in everything, which not a lot of male leads, even at his age, would agree to doing a show where they're not technically involved in some of the stuff at the end of the season. So I like it. All right, where are we at? Your 3? My 3? Where are we at?
Just did your 4. Yeah, my 3.
Okay.
Which is Top Gun Maverick.
Oh my God. I didn't even think to put that on this list. Fuck, that changes everything.
I think to put Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick. One
I
of the
just
two.
thought those are fighter jets. So in my mind, I didn't even think about a plane.
That's a plane.
Yeah, it's a plane. You're right. If that fucking seagull thing counts, so does Top Gun Maverick.
Dude, you just fucking you're taking out your anger on yourself at my cultured, nuanced, and wide-ranging list.
All right.
You looked at your list and you're like, hey, you think you could melt that canned cheese on top of my block of Velveeta over here and just make an orgasm of cheese product?
Son of a bitch. All right. Maverick is what was that? It was my number 2 now. So okay, let's have the conversation.
Yeah, I prefer Maverick over the first one.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't know how to answer that because I agree that it's a technically better film. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to make that decision before I go in the grave, to be honest with you. I just like them both so separately for different reasons. I'd be hard pressed to choose.
But yet you put Top Gun Maverick on your list.
Yeah, well, I think it's
got more plain stuff.
And it's also got more of an emotional arc for the characters. So I think that qualifies a little more. Not that, Con Air is big emotional draws, but fuck. I didn't think to put this one on there. All right. Anyway, let's get into it. So
yeah, you have The Right Stuff, which is military
yeah.
adjacent.
Yeah.
And then you have the military and Air Force One plus Executive Decision plus just interesting. Yeah, Top Gun Maverick, I was expecting fun.
Yeah.
And it more than delivers on that.
Yes.
I do find it interesting that some people, upon walking out, like I saw tweets from people that saw it, earlier than I did. I saw it opening night, but I went to the super late showings and they're like, greatest movie I've ever seen. I'm like, whoa, really? And then walking out of it, I was like, that was good. Greatest movie ever. That seems wildly, exceeding what I think it should be considered for. But I do think it cleared the hurdle of why are we doing this 40 years later?
Yes.
Did the best job of fan service I think I've seen from a movie of this caliber, to where the stuff with Val Kilmer dealing with his personal state and tying it into the story and be like, the cancer's come back. We don't need to discuss what the cancer is. When he had it before, what it's progressed to, the state of it, how long he's got. I don't need any of that. So that way, when we get introduced to the character and he's in a state, and just be like, the cancer came back.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Each time, with the exception of one, each time they would do those fan service moments, I was like, that's perfect. Good for you. I just thought it was a really damn good film.
It's such an anomaly of a film for the reasons you point out, Matt. I mean, how many of these projects, whether TV or film, have been able to be successful revisiting these characters all these years later, right? It's kind of a rarity.
Yeah.
And this one is the top of the pile because of how they're able to take a foundational film that a lot of people still love and enjoy and still discover that is like the beginning of the ascension of the movie star of Tom Cruise. But you could argue not that deep in terms of the character, in terms of the emotional journey, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly you feel it, because the dad stuff hangs over him so strongly through the first movie. And Tom does a nice job conveying those moments, I think. And you took that and you went even deeper with this character and added layers and levels and moments, like when he's looking through the window at Rooster playing the piano, or when he's having those conversations with Penny Benjamin in the bedroom. And then even later on in that scene with the bedroom, when he falls or jumps down onto the ground trying to elude her daughter seeing him, the look he gives her when she catches him and she says, just don't hurt her anymore. Like, just don't hurt her again. Like
Yeah.
just that line, and seeing his reaction of all the years of mistakes that he's made in the past, where he's kind of been a bit insensitive with people's feelings who cared about him, all comes to play in that moment. And then he has to lead this mission, and then he has to train these people, and then he has to go toe to toe with John Hamm. And then he has to kind of come to this resolution with Rooster by the end of the movie. So there's so much to enjoy here. And the journey that he is on as a character,
Mm-hmm.
combined with the incredible action sequences. And I think it's a bit of a fucking crime that no one is talking about nominating Joseph Kosinski for Best Director. And I'm like, who do you think fucking made this happen? Who do you think?
Tom Cruise.
Well, sure, but he was the director. So in essence, this idea of getting this all right, finding the right take, knowing how to get your actor to where they need to get to, shooting all the stuff in the sky, like that's all incredible, So I just think it's kind of unfair that he's not being talked about, yet someone plants a camera in a room for a majority of the movie and it's like, oh, best director. And it's like, come on, it's not as easy to shoot all those sequences as people think. People think it's populist, so therefore it can't be technically great. And it's like, no, there's really incredible work being done here. And to be able to bring it back all these years later and knock it out of the park like this deserves much more respect for the director than it's getting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Just people are going to give Tom all the credit and plaudits. So
right. Well, and to be fair, Tom has been the one out front.
Yeah,
doing all the interviews, doing all the. It hasn't been Kosinski, so that's a fair point. All right, so where are we going now?
So your 3. What's your 3?
My 3 is The Right Stuff, which is your 2,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Which is my 2. So we're flip flopping on those.
Yeah. So go ahead. Since it's higher on your list, go ahead,
man. It is the story of how we got to the Mercury and Apollo missions, and how we hit upon the types of individuals that we would need for those missions. So we bring in all the pilots to determine whether or not who has the right stuff to be an astronaut. And they have to go through the rigors of the weeding out process. And then we narrow it down to these set of individuals are going to be the first ones into space. And then ultimately the first people to, step foot on the moon.
Yeah.
And then it's set against someone like Chuck Yeager, who turned down the opportunity because he looked at it as, you're not doing any flying. You're just strapped to the top of a rocket.
Yeah.
And you can get a monkey for that. You don't need me. And he was the most potentially heralded pilot in the U.S. And so by that logic, could be in the world.
Yeah.
Was the fastest man alive for a while. And they've got that great when he goes up in the experimental plane.
Yeah.
When he's not even scheduled to go up, shouldn't have access to the plane. And he taxis out and people are like, you allowed to do this? And basically just like, I'm going up. And they're like, well, he is Chuck Yeager, so I guess we'll just let him go up. And he takes cutting edge military technology up to break the record. I mean, he's doing what it's designed for, but this isn't a day that they were setting out to do it. It's a different time in the U.S. Air Force. Put
Yeah.
it that way. It hadn't been around for all that long, so the power dynamic was a little bit shifted more in the pilot's favor at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so but the journey of all these individuals of how they settle upon obviously your Armstrongs and your Aldrins, but then your Gus Grissams of the world and all the other ones that their names aren't as remembered or recalled.
Right. Not
as
in the
Neil
same
and
breath.
Buzz.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But all these, the various steps we had to do along the way.
Yeah.
Just to be able to get to the moon. Like, okay, we need to do a spacewalk. Just a spacewalk. Get up there and walk around, get out of the cockpit.
Yeah.
Boom, that's one. Okay, we need to do a docking mission where we just couple two things up there and just all the incremental things that you have to do and inevitably to get to something as monumental as stepping foot on another planetary body.
Yeah.
So if you're into any of that kind of stuff, I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And I rewatched it again earlier last year in 2022. And it's just a long movie. It's a 3-hour movie. It took me a couple days to finish it. Because I wanted to see, like, because I love space stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's see what this is all about. And again, because it's been a bit, and it holds up. And all these really great young actors, all these great actors at young ages, Dennis Quaid, Ed Harris, Sam Shepard, Barbara Hershey in there as well. Like it's so great to see all these actors being a part. I think Goldblum's in it too. Yeah, he's one of the scientists.
Yeah, he's one of the scientists. Shows up. He's one of the recruiters.
Oh, recruiters. Right.
Yeah. Is the other one? I was about to say it's Richard Schiff, but it's not.
No.
Fuck, who is it?
Yeah.
He showed. Yeah, it's Goldblum and somebody else.
Yeah.
And the somebody else is.
It's not Balaban, is it? Is it Bob Balaban?
Could be.
Yeah. It might be. I think it actually is him. So a young Bob Balaban. Yeah, I mean, Scott Glenn. That's right. He plays Alan Shepard. There's so many fantastic actors throughout this whole thing. Fred Ward is Grissom.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it was fun. And Lance Hendrickson is in this thing. A young Lance Hendrickson as well. So there's so much to enjoy in this one. And I was, when it comes to all these space documentaries, all these space shows, this one is still the one that kind of sets the bar for people to enjoy. And and there are a lot of plane sequences in the film, and they're all pilots. So I think it does qualify for our conversation for sure. Oh no, it was Harry Shearer who was
Harry
the other
Shearer.
recruiter.
That's right.
Yeah. So there you go.
So it's almost like Schiff meets Bob, and they make Harry. So between the two of us, we were, a little this, little that, boom, Harry Shearer.
All right. So what's our next thing? Are we all the way to our number ones? I think we are, right?
Yeah. So mine is the punt from you, which is Airplane.
Okay.
We're talking plane movies. This is the producers of Plane said this is a follow-up to Airplane. We're resetting the mythology, and we're not choosing Airplane 2, the sequel.
Oh, God forbid. Which
we're cutting that out. Yeah. So this is like the natural progression of where we're going. I think the humor still holds up exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And that's very difficult to do because people's comedic timing, jokes, subject matter, and all that stuff changes dramatically over time. Sure. So what passed for humor, like if you go back and listen to, I've owned a few different Lenny Bruce albums.
Oh, yeah.
And if you go back and listen to them, if there's like at least for me, I had a general appreciation. Occasionally something might make me chuckle.
Yeah.
But it's not, the humor has evolved dramatically. So for something from that long ago to still get a laugh out of me because the joke setup is so strong, it's so well constructed. Will people be offended by this? Yeah. But it was also designed to offend at times.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Some of it, I think, at that time wouldn't have been thought of as offensive, and now definitely would.
Yeah.
like the grandma speaking jive. Be cool. Yeah, I that scene is awesome.
I think that scene could still work today. You just have to cast the right people to pull it
I
off.
think people are just like, oh, basically you're stereotyping an entire group as they only interact with one another like this, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and be like, oh,
Yeah.
yes, you could look at it like that, but then you could say we're also stereotyping flight attendants as this and this is this, and be like, well, the whole thing is predicated upon offending.
Well, I always think of that video of Obama walking through the handshake line where like with all the white
Oh, the
people was
Key
doing
and
that.
Peele.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but that's based on an actual thing where Obama actually walked through a handshake line and was shaking proper hands with all the white people. And then one of the black guys were there and they had like a big old hug and a high five and all this kind of stuff. So it's like that was a parody of that, which I think works. So I think you could have that in the movie as kind of if you cast another black character in the movie, because I think those were the only two black guys in the movie other than Kareem, and have them have an interaction where you see the difference there and how they approach. I think that's how you get away with it. And then you could still have the scene with the older woman trying to do the jive or whatever, doing the jive, because I think it could still work. And it was Beaver's mom. That's what really was.
Yeah,
What
that's part of
sold
the
the show.
selling point.
Yeah,
So you'd
yeah.
have to today it would be Betty White before she passed, or
Oh,
Angela
Betty White.
Lansbury.
Nobody would have had an issue. It was Betty White.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Good point. Yeah.
but it's someone like that,
Yeah.
which I didn't watch Leave It to Beaver, but I understood the maternal nature of the character that she played, and then what this means, even when I saw it years and years later.
Hey, Big Mama dug her rap. Son, give me some slack, Jack. Oh,
Yeah,
man, that's such a great back and forth.
there's a bit of the playing the guitar and keep
Oh,
sitting on the
yeah.
IV line, and the kid, and then she'd move, and then the kid goes back down, and then sits on it again. Uh,
The lips being pursed together.
I mean, Leslie Nielsen
Oh,
killing it,
yeah. I mean,
killing it as
yeah.
he is as straight as an arrow the whole time, and it is perfect. And that's what's kind of disheartening about later on when he's doing interviews and whatnot, and he's got like the fart machine thing in his hand and whatnot. Be like, the reason you're funny is because you play these ridiculous scenes so
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not telling the jokes. The jokes are flying at you, and you're oblivious to it because you're just so centered. And that's what makes it so fucking good. It's tough. Not everybody could do that. Embrace
Yeah.
the amazing skill set you have.
I mean, I had the chicken.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It's a career changing film for Leslie Nielsen.
Oh,
From
yeah.
that
He was
point
a
forward.
dramatic actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then this is just like, boom, pivot. You're doing your comedy. You are comedy.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. I mean, it's from top to bottom, just very, very funny sequences on the plane, all of it. And Robert Hayes, his flashbacks to dancing with Julie Haggerty and the kind of a Saturday Night Fever type situation, all the sweat and everything as he's trying to land. Lloyd Bridges and that whole thing. I picked the wrong week to stop.
He's every time.
Yeah. I think the gay character would be the one where you'd have to kind of make the biggest adjustments and the biggest. That's way too flamboyant. Where you get in trouble for that, man.
True, but I think a lot of his dialogue and lines could stay.
Maybe.
And Leon's getting larger. Has nothing to do with him. It's just he's just got good comedic timing, and he's just rifling in. And when you have that polarity with Bridges plus Stack.
Yeah, right.
And Stack
Robin
is just
Stack,
this.
That's right.
Yeah, just a cigar chewing, super serious flight control operator.
It's a good dynamic. You're right.
Yeah, I could watch that again right now.
Doesn't he have the maracas? Doesn't he come in with the maracas?
Oh, I don't have to look that up. I can't think of that scene.
I forget. Oh well. And the sequel was terrible. Oh God, the sequel.
I've only seen it once, and I will never watch it again.
Yeah.
And like Kentucky Fried Movie, I don't think is good.
Oh, Kentucky Fried Movie, right?
Yeah, it's like I see signs of where you're going, but this is rough.
Yeah. All right, so then my number one, which is not a laugh fest at all, United 93. The very almost documentary type approach to what happened on that flight there in United 93 when it crashed in Pennsylvania. And great job by Paul Greengrass to pull you into that movie. And he cast, people who are good character actors, not stars, to play all these characters and what happened and what was reported that happened on that flight. And of course, it ends in such a tragic way. So, just incredible film that I only go back and revisit once every few years because it is so true to life and harrowing. So I'm very curious to see what you thought, Matt, since it was your first time watching.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it at 4. Previously, it was at 3 because of rights up, but I think it's lower than the other ones because I will watch all of those again.
Yeah, of course.
Much more routinely. I'm glad I waited all the time because when it came out, I held it off for years. It's like, yeah, I like you, like, vast majority of this country. I lived through that day.
Yeah.
And I don't need to watch this, but I did find it fascinating that they bring in like the TSA element to it.
Yeah.
So they're tracking these flights of United Airlines 11. Where's it going? Oh, it's off. Now it's back on the screen and whatever. And then this flight and that flight and how chaotic that entire day was. And then the code at the end, like the fact that NORAD and the Department of Defense didn't know that 93 had been hijacked until 4 minutes after it crashed.
Yep.
Because the communication was just so slow to move around.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Which was probably part of the plan. You make it so frazzled that they can't see which one is. It makes it harder for them to find which one has been hijacked and which one hasn't. So, but yeah.
As it's going on, like there's 4 terrorists on it, and one is the leader, and he's slow to get the plan going.
Yeah.
And as I'm watching it was like, wow, had they enacted their plan earlier, like 15, 20, 30 minutes earlier, would they have been able to pull it off because people wouldn't have known in the back of the plane that the Twin Towers got hit or the Pentagon had been hit, that there was a situation like this, and they might have been pacified into the belief that we're going to go land at an airport because they have a list of demands they want to make.
Yeah.
And everything's going to be okay. There's a tremendous amount of fictionalizing going on, just that we don't know what was said.
Right.
In all these situations. But I will say, in the moment as they're breaking through the cockpit door, I was holding out hope that they'd be able to wrestle control away.
And that tells you how great that film is. You know how it ends. You historically know how it ends. Yet everything that leads to that moment, you think to yourself, well, maybe they'll pull it off in the film. Maybe. And that's what adds so much more to the tragedy. Because, I mean, when they go, I think they go the white frame, you're just like,
now they go straight to black.
Oh, straight to black. Okay. You're just like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then it stays black for a while.
Yeah.
And then I thought they might go to a montage of the passengers.
Oh, right. To find out, what happened.
Yeah. Just like, here's what this individual looked like and their backstory. But to do that for every person.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, but what about all the other individuals that suffered similar fates on that day?
Right.
I understand why. Then they just say to all the victims.
Yeah.
But that's what I was initially anticipating. I did love, there's the guy that's like, look, I took judo and I'm just going to run up and break his arm. And you could watch him be like, man, this is some bad acting. And I thought it was perfect because in that moment, you'd be so jacked on adrenaline, not wanting to die. You'd just be like, I'll fucking break his arm. Okay. You got to be right behind me though. And just this fevered. It is. It's a whole bunch of character actors. And I thought they all had nice moments to shine.
I mean, you rarely see Sledgehammer, David Rash, get to play like a regular person, that is too fantastical. And so to see, I was like living and dying with all the stuff that he was experiencing as the film went along. I thought he was great. And, that moment with everything, I was like, God damn, man.
Do you know if they cast any real people in this? Because it seems like a lot of the TSA, or not, the flight controllers were real people.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I'd heard rumors that, so maybe they did. I haven't.
Especially like at the head of the TSA, that guy.
Oh, yeah.
early on before it goes to panic. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like you don't really know your lines. Just walking around like, hey, how you doing, Murray? All right. Oh, flight's
Right.
coming in. That's right. Yeah, we're on a set. We're supposed to be talking about flights.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
So yeah.
is he a
Um,
real?
several participants in the real life events portray themselves, including Thomas Roberts, Tobin Miller, Rich Sullivan, Tony Smith, James Fox, and then a list of other people here, and notably FAA operations
FAA.
manager
That's what I
Ben
said.
Sliney. Sliney
Yeah.
was initially involved as an advisory role, then he was cast as an air traffic
Yeah.
controller, and
Once
then
shit
this
hits the fan,
yeah.
he does a better job. But
Yeah,
before that, when
right.
he's like, hey,
He's believable.
we're taking a meeting, but I just heard about this flight.
Yeah,
Could be hijacked anyway. I'll give you updates as I get them. You're like, I don't.
right.
Hmm. It's
It's
just, dude.
fascinating, right? It's fascinating when you watch people and you're like, "Why can't you just say stuff that you normally would say in everyday
Yeah,
life on camera?
it
What is
feels so
why is
weird.
it?"
It's like
Yeah,
he's throwing it off, and you're
yeah,
like, I have a hard time believing if there was a potential hijacking situation and you hadn't had one in decades,
yeah, right.
that you just be like, hey, it could be. Anyway, we bought too many coffee mugs. We got to do some budgetary shit. And you're like, I'm not buying this. And then they cut to NORAD and be like, there's an actor, there's an actor,
Yeah,
there's an actor. That's
right.
all actors. And then they cut back to the FAA and be like, hey, dicey again. But then when shit hit that, and then there was the representative from the Pentagon. I think that dude might be real that was interacting
Yeah,
with the FAA
yeah.
because he looks so scared to deliver
But
his lines.
I feel like it's the quiet but it might be the quiet smartness of the movie that they cast these guys
Yeah,
just
I'm not against it. I think
yeah.
ultimately they do a good job with it.
Yeah, yeah,
It was a little shaky for me at first, but
yeah,
whatever. Who cares?
yeah,
But yeah, I'm glad I took the time. It's an excellent movie,
yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I never saw World Trade Center either, but I never heard anything good about it.
It's okay. It's not great. This is
Yeah,
definitely the best of the 9/11 films, in my opinion. Although Reign Over Me is good as well. I think this
I
is
did see that. I liked Rain Over Me,
yeah, Reign Over Me is good.
but that's more about the people left behind.
Right.
Yeah, not the day and
And all of
all of
that.
it itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they're in that other tower, I don't know if it's Newark or LaGuardia or wherever the fuck it is. And the guy's like, hey, there's the plane. There's the plane. And then they see it and
Yeah.
they can just see the explosion of the second tower. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit, did that actually happen? I bet you that did.
Yeah.
It's like, that's
Probably.
brutal.
Yeah. All right, well, there you go. That's our top 10 films that take place on a plane. It's our separate list. So we're going to compile this thing and do the official list here for the top 10. I'm going to grab the box.
All right. So where did you have Airplane again?
Yeah, so everything's changed around now with Top Gun Maverick being added. So let me see. So which one? United
Airplane's
93 was number
Airplane's low on your list, right?
Airplane is 6 now on my list.
Okay. And then United 93. You know what? I feel like United 93 should just be number one.
Okay. Works for me.
Now we got Right Stuff versus Top Gun, and then after that, I think we go Airplane.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Do you have a preference on Right Stuff versus Top Gun?
Of course, I'm going to go Top Gun Maverick. Are you kidding?
Although I did just put your number one.
I mean, it's on your list. It's not like you gave me anything.
I chose not to go through the process of flipping coins. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be the bigger man.
Do you feel comfortable putting the Right Stuff over Top Gun Maverick? I leave that up
Yeah, I
to
do.
you.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's higher on my list.
If anyone has any issues with it, you can address your comments
Direct it to
at
me.
Matt Knost.
Yep. All righty. Did we ever? We punted on Flight and we never talked about it.
What?
Where was that
my
on your
number
list?
4. Oh, I'm sorry.
Did that get moved around because of?
Yeah, it was number 3, and then it got moved down to 4 because of Top Gun Maverick. Oh, my apologies. I guess I got all messed up about that. Well, we've talked about Flight on the show before, so what more do you want to say? Denzel was great.
Denzel is amazing in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I liked a lot of the other actors in it. I thought it was well cast.
Yes, agreed.
And it's inspired by a real event.
Yes. And isn't it Donner who directed this one? Not Zemeckis, right? Or is it Zemeckis?
It's Zemeckis. No, it's Zemeckis.
God damn. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's a
Shit.
very non-Zemeckis-y film.
The Last Gasp, because his Pinocchio was horrific.
I'm not even going to attempt it.
Man, it was bad.
Okay, so that's 1 through 5. United 93, Right Stuff, Top Gun Maverick, Airplane, Flight.
Okay.
And then we both have Sully, but that's lower.
Yes.
Air Force One was where?
It is now 5 for me.
Okay. All right, so that makes 6.
Okay.
Sully was now, well, Sully's off your list now.
Sully's
correct?
off my list now. Yeah.
Okay. So I have my 5.
Okay.
Memphis Belle. That's higher than anything you should have left, I believe.
Did we put Flight on the list already?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Then I don't have anything in the top 5 that isn't.
I have my 7. What's your next highest?
It's Con Air, son. Number 7.
All right, I'm flipping you for that.
Flip that coin, man. Flip that coin.
Even though everybody listening would agree that they enjoy it more than Fly Away Home, I will not. I will not go quietly into the night. I will not.
All right.
2 weeks in a row for you.
Oh, for me?
Yep.
What a shock. We must have found the one piece of wood finally.
You won last week.
That's what I'm saying. We must have found the one piece of wood. I think I'd lost the previous 99.
Which, by the way, did you get my Christmas gift that I sent to you?
I don't want to answer this. I don't want to answer this.
It's a simple yes or no. Did you?
No, I did not.
Ah, fuck.
What is this Christmas gift you sent?
I figured with your whole like the cowboy motif thing.
Here we go.
I got you. I splurged this year. I splurged. And I got you the Cowboy Trump NFT. I emailed that over because I figured you got the green screen now. You can put it on the green screen.
I can. Yes.
And have it back there, but it doesn't. You got the thing on the blockchain and it's officially yours and you'd love it.
None of these words make any sense to me. I don't shit about the Trump. I mean, shit about the NFT stuff.
Yeah, but it's a cowboy thing and you love cowboy stuff. So your sheets are cowboy sheets. You got a horse bed instead of a race car bed.
Oh, totally.
Guys,
totally.
That's why he hasn't divorced himself from this outlaw thing. It's
I put straw. I put straw all around the house.
All right, what's your next highest? I have my 8, Sully.
Well, I guess my 8 is Red Eye. So how many slots are left?
1.
Ooh, here we go.
All right, flipping it once more. And you finally lose one.
Oh, that's a shame.
So it makes the list.
That's a shame.
You'd have to agree that considering it was technically on your list,
yeah,
that it's not disappointing that it gets the last spot.
No, it's
not. All right, there we go. There it is. Boom. Hey, so you got my email. You got the email of the NFT sent over. Gorgeous.
I'm a fucking moron.
You got your white hat? Throw it on, buddy.
Wait.
Do you have your white cap?
It's in the closet somewhere with dust on it. All right, let's do this thing. The top 10 films set on a plane. Yeah. At number 10,
Sully.
At number 9,
Fly Away Home.
At number 8,
Con Air.
At number 7,
Memphis Belle.
At number 6,
Air Force One.
At number 5,
Flight.
At number 4,
Airplane.
At number 3,
Top Gun Maverick.
At number 2,
The Right Stuff.
And our number 1 film set on a plane is
United 93.
Hey, good stuff, man. United 93. All right. Well, there you go. That's our official top 10 list of the films set on a plane. Go see Plane. It's coming out the weekend that we drop, or the weekend of the week that we drop this. Gerard Butler, another Gerard Butler vehicle. Don't get it confused with Den of Thieves or Hunter Killer. It is out there for you all to enjoy and let us know what you think of it if you go see it. I'm supposed to go to a screening for it next week, but I don't know if I'm going to go see a screening of this thing. We shall see. All right, Matt, any final words here before we wrap up?
You can follow the show at Top 10 Show on Twitter, and it's all spelled out. On Instagram and YouTube, it's /the Top 10 Podcast with the number 10. You can follow me anywhere at Matt Knost. Check out my other show. It's called Settle the Score. You can find that anywhere you get podcasts. And if you'd like to watch it on YouTube, go to youtube.com/Matt Knost.
Do you have anybody coming up that's going to be a fun matchup that you're dropping? Can you tease, or do you not like to do that?
You know what? Every time I've done that, it's bit me on the ass, and I have to reschedule those people.
Never mind.
I know. It's like I've done it 3 times ever, and all 3 times. It's just like, hey, shit, can we do next week instead? Yeah, we can do next week instead.
All right. I'll let it be then. As for me, you can always follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. The other podcasts I do, The Cinephiles, The Geek Buddies, and The Hot Mic, they're all there for you all to enjoy and have some fun with. And if you're into sports and if you're into pro wrestling, we have branched out both of those things into their own YouTube channels, the Strong Style YouTube channel and the Game Time Sports YouTube channel. Those are all separate. Please go over there and subscribe to those channels because we're dropping content every week, sometimes multiple times a week, to try to build up the audience for that. So we'd love it if you came over there. All right, that's it from us. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the Top 10 Show. Peace.